Welcome, horses, donkeys, and all other animals, to the kiln. It's hot. It's a bit hot. Oh, a bit warm. There's Giggle here and there's Calibri body somewhere. I don't fucking know. This is my intro. That's about it. The topic of today is why anime. So Alex, why anime?
Why anime?
Yes, why anime?
That's pretty good.
So Caleb, why anime?
That's not bad.
Alright, that's the whole stream for you. It was about 33 seconds, that's about it. That's all we need. Alright, well, good.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
I know. It's
Like, what? I think this question is more like, what got you into anime? Were there anything prior to it that made you enjoy it a little bit more? Or maybe, what made you stick with it and be able to enjoy it? Even if you don't do as much watching today, or you do whatever you want. What gave you this essence of like, this is a good thing. I like
Attack
this.
on Titan opening.
Attack on Titan opening. From a person who hasn't finished Attack on Titan.
About who was stronger, Hulk or Saitama, and I'm like, it's Hulk, bro. It's just straight up Hulk. And then I went to go confirm it's not Hulk. It's just not. And that's why I watched One Punch Man. My first anime.
I remember we got into an argument.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
About who would win, Thor or Saitama, and that was quite the argument. Someone almost got bashed that day. It almost got violent.
It almost got violent. I mean, yeah.
I don't know. For me, it was just sort of. I literally. It was literally just a whim. It's like, why not? I'll have a look. Oh yeah, this is pretty cool. And then I just watched it a bit more, and that's it.
I think for me, it really was just a natural progression of myself that it felt like it was the right thing to watch.
Sounds gay.
I'm just saying, like I'm a little bit different to you two who had watched anime more as a child. Granted, all those anime were like all campy, let's buy some shit stuff with Pokemon, Digimon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! One Piece was thrown in there as well, but I'm glad I forgot it because that was for kids. But even still, like, just growing up and like literally all my favorite cartoons were inspired off of the Eastern anime style, minus a couple. And I think that really kind of just slowly pushed me into something that could be a little bit more than what cartoons are so restricted to. Obviously, there has been a great growth in animated films since then. Take Invincible, for example, now. It's like, yeah, I don't think that one's for kids. There's some weird shit that happens. And it gets darker later on. Yeah. By the way.
With my sort of previous history, I'd seen glimpses of anime on the TV. I know I saw a few scenes of Dragon Ball at one point. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. It was just some kid. But then I don't know. I can't exactly put why it drew me in. Because obviously, I mean, yeah, sure, the opening was cool. And then I'm like, I'll watch more. But then it's like, to go on from Attack on Titan, I can't remember what it was. I think it might have been Death Note. I'm not exactly sure. And it's why, like, part of me maybe thinks that it actually wasn't anime in general, and it was just those particular shows. Because I'll tell you what, if I had watched some certain shows that were a bit shitter, I might not have been dragged in. So really, it does sort of depend. But
No, absolutely.
Alex got hit by a bus.
Oh, you did?
No, that's how I describe Alex's one.
What? I did?
Yeah, you were hit by a bus, and the bus was anime.
Sure. Sure. Okay, let's go with that then. Let's say, I was like, this like trains are better, and then like Winston and Vikesh are like, no, this bus though, and I'm like, okay, I'll take the bus, I'll try give it a shot. And that was One Punch Man, and I'm like, you know what, the buses are pretty neat, but you know, I'll switch around public transport here and then. And then there was this double decker bus from the London one, the Big Red. That was One Piece. That one hit me, and I couldn't take the train anymore after that. Basically.
For me, I think it was more. I would describe mine as like having a match, and then the house is burning down now.
Because when I watched One Punch Man, right, that was just okay. Yeah, anime pretty good. I'm gonna keep watching my own things. It was mostly movies at the time. Didn't really care for shows nearly as much. I watched a bunch of Netflix shows. I think like Travelers and Dirk Gently.
And don't get me wrong, there are still things within like anime and stuff that I feel like can't they for some reason it doesn't feel like the Eastern cultures can really connect with and like get, particularly a lot more like crime based things or crime like set in like a normal society kind of thing. I don't think is very strong in terms of anime and manga. There are some that have those elements in it and they do a great job of it, like Monster. But other than that, without something weird happening, it's hard to have that kind of just serious kind of nature, but also be feeling realistic. And I feel like Western cultures just do it a little bit better. Even just the understanding of like superheroes and whatnot can be shown a lot more in the West compared to the East.
Because they've got different target audiences, and each of those audiences have different values.
And there's also a different culture behind it as well. And one thing like I really like looking at, and like one thing that I think annoys me a lot, is when like everyone goes, Dragon Ball's the king because it inspired everything. But it's like, I mean, Dragon Ball was inspired by other things. Like most of culture, most how society grows is just inspired off of things from the past.
Journey to the
and I think I really enjoyed that aspect of Dragon Ball, and it's why it hit so well with a lot of Western fans, is that Dragon Ball Z, pretty much all the arcs, except the Buu Saga, was inspired off of Western ideas and movies. Like Terminator 2, Superman 2. Oh, it wasn't
Something
Superman
else
3.
too.
I don't know. Yeah. Or Alien. Yeah, the Xenomorph. Like, it was inspired more off of the other things around the world. And it really shows
by the time what Z adapted came, was being written, the Journey to the West inspiration kind of got expunged.
Yeah.
And now we're just on
It didn't have that youthful journey anymore, and it needed to grow up, and it created like a Superman, and it was essentially it was basically just like, okay, they're just ripping off Superman for his backstory, and Superman at the time had been around for 50 years.
But even back then it wasn't as much, but now they've been leaning ever more so with the way they did Broly's
the backstory.
Goku's backstory with Broly.
Super canon.
Which is them sort of changing the way to fit a new audience.
Yeah.
Because I mean, less so back then, but definitely now, anime is something that is significantly more global. Right? Because all of a sudden,
and day by day, I swear, it feels like this would be something you would be bullied for in high school. And now I feel like it's becoming such a norm thing to just watch anime. You don't even have to watch a lot. It's just, you can watch a couple anime and you won't get bullied for that.
Most people don't. Most people just passively watch. Hey, that's
a good show. Yeah, because at the end of the day, a lot of these things. I feel like that's how a lot of the thing is. It's just like, okay, it's a good show. That I'll just watch it because it's a good show. That's all. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's animated or live action. And I feel like
the stigma of animated content is definitely going down, like you said with Invincible.
Yeah.
Or even I like to say Into Spider-Verse. That wasn't kids could watch it, but that wasn't just and I don't mean adult series like there usually animation used to be split into two genres of this one's for kids. This one is absolutely not for kids. Do not show your 10-year-old Family Guy.
Yeah.
But now it's
Or South Park. South Park, I think, was bigger.
South Park, Family Guy.
Yep.
There might have been another one, but I don't really care, to be honest. But now
Simpsons was in between.
Simpsons was like you can show children and older people can enjoy it as well at the same time.
Because a lot of their jokes would be like in between, where
Yeah.
if you were a kid, you wouldn't understand what the fuck they were saying.
No.
If you're an adult, you would understand what they're saying, so it's funny.
Mm.
But the kid wouldn't know, so it goes over the head. You know, with Family Guy, that's just
Yeah, you just don't show that to kids.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, Pixar films, for example, they've always been family films, and a lot of adults really enjoy those films as well.
Yeah.
Like you as a kid, you'll be like, yeah, Toy Story is fucking fantastic. But then as an adult, you'd also go like, man, fucking Toy Story is fucking fantastic.
I understand this.
It's not just Pixar is not just about making kids films; it's about making films anyone can enjoy, and I really like that. That I do think that those films definitely helped in some regard to not adult animation, but just animation as a medium to tell a story, right? Because like I said, it was always either very much adult or kids show, but now it can just be any story. You just need to look at the fucking rating, and you'll find out who it's for. And either that helped anime get into the public eye, or anime is part of the reason that animation is a far more acceptable form of entertainment. That's the word.
But there was a time, I feel like, when we were kids where it's like if you said you watched anime, you would get bullied.
I've never been bullied for it.
Of course.
And I've never seen anyone.
Or even just that stigma of like, you're still watching cartoons. You should be an adult. You don't need to watch cartoons. You're an adult. Why are you watching cartoons?
I mean, but the thing with that is they'll say that for anything, so it doesn't. I don't.
Yeah.
That would be
that's some
more like parents that
There's people who will say that for gaming, so whatever. Okay.
Yeah. I think a lot of that did come from a more older generation kind of thing.
Yeah, because you're.
No, they're fucking old idiots, and I don't pay attention to them.
Bloody boomers.
I was watching I don't know what it was. I just remember that she told me this once. There was something on TV that I was at my grandparents' house, my uncle's house, and then it was not an animated kids show. And they're like, why are you watching this? This is not animated, because she just completely forgot or didn't even know that, or realize that I could just watch things that aren't animated. I was like 10 or something. I don't know. I just remember that one line.
What do you mean?
And she told me, like, why do I need to watch fucking Octonauts, bro? I can watch what I like. I'll watch the 7 p.m. news.
I can watch Mr. Bean.
I think it was maybe High Five was on TV.
Showing your age.
It wasn't animated, and she was like, "Oi, why are you watching this? You're like 10."
Yeah, you're 10. Why are you watching this? Huh?
She didn't understand English. Like it's.
Why are you watching it? Why are they dancing?
High five. Fucking high five, bro.
But still, I think with anime, a lot of it is like, yeah, you do have those anime that are targeted towards kids. You have those anime that are targeted towards teens. And of course you have those series that are targeted to an older audience or whatnot. They can understand more and get into it more. Like I feel like a lot of what I'm reading now, and like a lot of the reason why back when we did the anime list, when a lot of my choices were very seinen-esque, is because a lot of seinen things can be a lot more mature and violent and feel more real.
Exactly what you want to, what you like, what you want to see.
Yeah, of course. And then you have the shonen, which has that unrealistic aspect to it, but it's still heavily enjoyable.
Sometimes I want to watch a rubber man defeat a fucking guy made of electricity.
One Piece is a different story altogether.
No, it's not.
What do you mean? One Piece has a great mystery behind it.
Sorry. Still a show directed for kids.
I'm sorry, but I gotta tell you, what was on the
I wouldn't say that a lot of the times with things. It's like shonen has their audience directed at a specific thing, but I think a lot of mangas and a lot of mangaka don't write for a specific audience. They write the story for writing a story's sake.
You know,
more
Oda
often.
specifically refuses to take what's it called, criticism from female writers because they're not from female readers because they're not his target audience.
Yeah.
He absolutely writes for his target audience.
Well,
Others maybe
you can
sure
have
others,
you can have a
but,
general
like,
male.
yeah, other people can enjoy it. He recognizes
Yeah.
this. He's got female readers criticizing his work. He just doesn't care. They're not. It's not for him. We're not for them.
But again, that could also be a thing where it's like he's also a male and he's writing for himself. Blah blah blah. Of course, either way, I'm just saying how it feels sometimes because a lot of these stories are just writing a story to sell the story and not to sell merchandise. Whereas I feel a lot of Western shows.
Oh yeah, no, that
do.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that's a big reason. Not why I got into it, but definitely why I've been staying a lot more with. Not just that, and also why I'm branching into very specific Western media now, not just I'm trying to go more into Western shows again, or Western movies, but not just any of them. Basically, a problem I've had for a while now with Western media is that there's always someone paying for it, right? There's always someone trying to send a message. There's always some bigger guy involved, right? And it's not like Japanese media doesn't have any influence from any political views either. But most anime adaptations of manga, and most manga are concepts of, well, like usually one guy who has a story he wants to tell, and an editor was like, you know what, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Right? That's a guy wanting to tell a story, and someone else going like, yeah, do it, and then they publish it, and then someone's like, that's good, and they animate it. Right? There's not. No one is up their arse, usually. No one is up their arse telling them, hey, this story needs to be this. You can't say this, you can't do this. Editors will be like, hey, that's a bit much. But they're not there to change the story. They're there to make sure that their boss doesn't fire them for adding a sex scene into a children's book.
Yeah. They still have rules.
Yeah, there are rules, but they're not. Those aren't people with budgets, people with money wanting to make more money by selling an idea. Right. So one of the big things I like about Japanese animation is that a lot of the time it is a guy wanting to tell a story. It is a single creator, or sometimes more, having this idea, this message that they want to tell, right? And they've got no billion-dollar corporation behind them.
They
breathing
do
down their fucking necks. Yeah, but they're not breathing down their necks, going like, "Oi, you have to have this. This needs to be a thing. You must do this." Right?
Of course, they have people who check up on them, who look at their work and will revise it and be like.
The difference is it's your script, and they're like, and they'll prove it or deny it. But if you go to, let's talk about the MCU. Sure, Taika Waititi was able to do everything he wanted, but there's still things that, as being part of that larger franchise, having this multi-billion-dollar corporation behind them wanting to make money, there are some things even he'd have restrictions doing. Yeah. Right.
What he's allowed to add, what references, because
how to create this greater MCU story, right? That's a restriction, and I'm still love the MCU. Fucking God knows, I do. But what's drawn me into anime is that more freedom to tell the story you want to tell, and generally, I tend to enjoy stories much more if it's a creator actually given the freedom to do that. It's why I've been enjoying Invincible recently, because I'm mixing up artist and author, so I said authorist. So the guy that wrote Invincible, he came back to do the show as well, to write and change a few things as well. That's not only his comic book getting an adaptation, that's him being in control of where it goes as well. Yeah. That was a fantastic show. looking at the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, James Gunn is actually been given freedom to tell the stories he wanted, and it fucking worked. And then it became the same with the Joker and with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker and Matt Reeves' Batman.
Yeah.
These are stories being told by someone who wants to tell a story, similar to the Japanese anime and manga. Right? There's usually that guy wanting to tell the story, and I'm fucking in for that.
The only difference in these kind of circumstances is more of like these are characters who have in Western, like you brought up movies, but a lot of them were inspired by other things or because they were already existing
the
characters.
creators, the people directing those films.
But that doesn't
are looking at that and they're taking what they want from it. They're not. These aren't rules.
No, I'm gonna say like there are still those people who do the exact same thing in the anime world. Just look at fucking My Hero Vigilante.
Yeah, they've got a fucking there's a concept and they've taken it in a fantastic direction.
Yeah,
and that's because they can.
They
able to
got
go,
the
hey
permission.
Rikishi, can I do this? And he's like, yeah, fucking go for it. And then he made a story better than the original, in my humble opinion.
And in my humble opinion as well.
Right? It's the fact that the stories being told there, I've said it again, I'll keep saying it, are their own, is why I'm stuck with anime and why I still am. And anime and manga, especially manga.
I think it's also like one of the strongest points is like finding series that really fit, because anime has so many series that you can watch and get into, but like anytime you find one that really fits like the time, like you're reading it, like one reason why I just generally love Grand Blue so much right now is because I'm reading it at a point in my life that actually fits and suits the target audience of it, being that the main character is the same age as me. He is going through experiences in his life of going to university, which is something I'm doing, and I just feel like it's easier to connect with a lot of the things. Of course, like, I can't connect with everything that happens in that fucking series, but still, it's like, there are some series where it's like, just the perfect time to watch it, or the perfect time to experience it can occur. But you can still go back and watch, like, I still go back and watch cartoons that most people will go back, why are you watching this? It's not very good, but, like, there are so many people out there that's just like...
Do people actually tell you that, or is that what you think people tell you?
Oh, no, people have actually told me this, yeah. You forget what family I come from.
Well,
They don't...
family.
They
They're
don't
not boomers.
No. I'm not talking about my grandparents.
No, adult, fucking okay.
What? Hey?
I think it more means like people older, like not like
People of our
parents
generation.
or grandparents. Yeah, people. Yeah, people more
People
older.
who
I've gotten it from people who are
similar
younger
to
than me.
yours, who have the similar upbringing to yours.
No, I've gotten it from people who are younger than me as well. It's like why this is so stupid? Why? It's like, yeah, you don't understand what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, the judgment from other people is not something I've experienced at all when watching or reading pretty much anything.
No, it's something I've experienced, but it's also something that's never stopped me or never will stop me, if that makes sense. It's something that I know people think, like, and I know because I've been told it by people, but at the end of the day, it's like, this is part of me, this is who I am, this is what I love, and I get so much enjoyment out of all these different things, whether that be comics or reading comics, which can be seen as childish, even though I find that highly stupid. And a lot of those things where it's like, oh, this is for children, it's where it's just a giant misconception where it's like, oh, let's just go watch Shrek, because, yeah, you can still enjoy it as an adult. In fact, in a lot of ways, some of those child movies get older with age. Some, of course, don't last, but some of them, like Shrek, it feels like you can only get better when you're growing older, because you understand more and you know more and you understand more about what the hell is going on. Like, I watched South Park as a as a kid. But like I understood nothing. And now if I watch South Park, it's like it's a whole different experience. And I feel like that also plays with it as well. It's like when you rewatch something at a different point in your life, you understand more and you can really enjoy it possibly more or less from the first time you experienced it.
I reckon Shrek, in my opinion, Shrek 2 is the best movie ever created. And that's fucking animated, so yeah. I mean, look, but in the end of the day, I'll tell you what, I reckon what annoys me more, like, I'm not really had many people come up and say, oh, yeah, you know, anime's for children or whatever. I haven't really had that, but there are some, like assumptions that are made.
Yeah.
Like, some people will say, oh, you like anime, so you must want to speak Japanese or something, and that literally couldn't be further from the case. Like, they assume that, oh, you like anime, so you must care a lot about Japanese culture. I literally...
I don't give a shit about Japan.
I could not fucking care less. My enjoyment simply comes from the individual series, and that's it. Why, when someone recommends me a series, I don't really...
It's not like you're gonna go, oh look, this is Batman. Yeah. Go suck off America now.
Oh yeah. You know, and...
You don't watch a film because it's got the Batman name on it. You watch it because it's good.
Precisely.
Which it is.
So, that is something that I've sort of seen, that people have made assumptions, and that's just not the case in the slightest.
And sure, I will get judged for like when I do choose to randomly watch something so stupid, and like sometimes I feel like my brain just needs that to like watch something so childish that I can just sit there watching it because I burnt my brain out on complex, convoluted storylines and that are really smart. So when I sit there watching something like My Little Pony that I don't need to think about, it just plays and I can do whatever I want.
That's an unfortunate thing that happens. Adult stories always have to have some dark, mature things. What if you just want to chill?
Yeah, we just want to
Without
vibe.
getting judged.
Shonen is probably the best for that though. I feel like a lot of shonen shows. Of course, they have little bits and whatnot, but sometimes if like it's just a rewatch of something, it's like I don't have to think about it as much. I've already thought about it once. I don't need to do it again.
What I speak of here is not about the stigma of people, like of the judgment you get from watching it. More so the idea of the people making it. That every time they're making something intended for adults, they've got to add something that is just. Why do you have to remind me that life is depressing?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Why do you have to remind me that? You have to remind me that working is hard.
If you're watching something for escapism purposes, you don't want to either be treated like a child or be treated like an adult. just want to watch something good.
Yeah. And if you do want to be treated like an adult, then there are those series for you.
There are those options.
Yeah.
Frankly, there's too many of them, to be honest.
I don't feel like there's enough in manga though, in anime. I feel like there needs to be more of those. That will make you sob. Anyway.
You know, this is not me saying I have a problem with mature adult stories with adult themes for people. Definitely not for children.
No.
But I don't want everything that says adult on it to include. I don't know. I don't really want.
I don't want to be burnt out.
Like I'm really good. Just seeing people vibe. That's fine by me. Thank you, sis.
I will admit that I think that in some ways that sometimes it does feel like certain things feel as if it's necessary to do a certain thing because it is this thing, if that makes sense.
If it's what the story is about, if it's something that actually helps the themes or the ideas you're trying to portray, by all means. I don't have a problem with stories that have mature themes. I just want more that it's aimed for adults, but not for, fucking words.
Just depressing shit.
Yeah, I don't want depressing. I don't
A
always.
lot
want
of the adult
show
anime series I think of, like especially in manga and anime, are just depressing piles of shit. Of course, they're amazing series, but that doesn't help the fact that they're all very depressing. And it's like, fuck.
Yeah, I want more variety in my quote unquote adult media.
I mean, I do consider like Vinland Saga a very kind of a more mature kind of audience for Vinland Saga because of the themes it goes through. But I don't feel as depressed when I'm reading it because it is a more historical thing that occurs in a certain time period of Vikings and whatnot. That feels like it's just like any other story.
I mean, if
like,
you want to accurately portray Vikings, you can't really some of those acts.
Yeah.
Well, you can if you want to be boring.
But I feel like Vinland Saga is a pretty good medium ground as well for that. And then you just have other ones where it's just just normies like slice of life shit like Grand Blue.
The boys.
The boys. The boys, despite majority of the characters being women.
True. Speaking of the boys, that's a pretty fucking good show.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I haven't finished it yet.
I've heard of it. I have not seen a lick of it, and I literally know nothing about it. I just there is a show called that.
The one thing with
It's
that
pretty good.
though is like it really started that kind of like no, heroes have been such a big thing in the world so much now. We gotta find a kind of counteract it with some depression.
Anti-superhero stories. Basically.
Yeah.
It's I think in a medium in a society currently filled to the brim with those kind of stories, it is a refreshing take. But
Yeah.
eventually there's going to be so many of those kind of shows where now we need a refreshing take on the refreshing take.
May I just say, like, before the stream, we were discussing about like a bit about Batman, more about like the film itself, and I'm just thinking of myself. I was just thinking to myself, as a movie and whatnot, a lot of the best Batman movies are animated.
Oh yeah.
That's one thing that I feel like is very true. There are a significantly higher dose of animated Batman movies that are largely better than live action ones. And sometimes, it is hard to capture things in live action because it might be hard or they have to change certain things because it is live action and doesn't make sense for it to happen in a realistic setting, which kind of grounds it a bit more from the escapism that is their own worlds of comics or manga.
I think a lot of this poor adaptations, we'll call them, is not particularly creators, but definitely investors, sponsors saying that this is too goofy, it's too ridiculous to actually add. How can you reasonably add this concept into the story? Right, so a lot of animated Batman films would probably better capture who Batman is, better capture the fact that not only is he a symbol of fear for the criminals of Gotham, but also a symbol of hope. This is something none of the fucking Batman films I've watched, live action Batman films, have ever been able to capture. But animated Batman has always been able to be not just vengeance and fear, it's, a hero. So in that regard, once again, animated stories tend to have a lot more freedom with whatever story they want to tell. That's the end of my sentence.
That is
Yeah.
I think that is a transition. I mean, and I think it's also.
That's not to say that like live action Batman. There have been bad live action Batmans. Christian
They
Bale,
have,
Dark Knight
but
series. Oh yeah, they have been. But like, I'm not saying that like the Dark Knight is bad because it doesn't portray Batman like that.
Yeah.
But other things excel because they can. Sorry, Caleb, I interrupted you.
No, I was just gonna say I agree with you. That's it. But yeah, they do tend to do that. They do tend to.
Like that was one
Soon.
that was even just one of the things when Alex and I were looking through our own personal favorite movies. Majority of mine were animated.
There's a lot of fucking animated Batman films.
Yeah. And a lot of great ones.
It's interesting because you were saying how, like, you know, obviously there's investors and producers and they will often intervene, and I mean this isn't obviously animated, but in Book of Boba Fett,
Yeah.
That
Oh yeah,
made-
yeah. That's a big one.
a particular decision that it was obvious, extremely obvious, that it was people behind the filmmakers that said you need to have this character reunite with this character because
That
we want
sucks.
to make money. And
Yeah.
I mean,
That's exactly what I was. I
Like-
didn't think of any examples, but yeah. So continue.
and you know, obviously, again, it's not animated, but that's the case of the big business coming in, and because they want to make money, because they know that this route is safe to do, they want to ensure this happens, because they're worried that if we don't have this happening, if we don't have what made us a lot of money in the past, continue to make us money in this way, then that's the problem. I feel like there's not a lot of risk taking, admittedly.
Yeah.
So, and that's just, that's another thing of, you know.
I think one of the things and one of the reasons what really drove me into the arms of anime was that the fact that it was always one creator behind it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I said.
Because like before anime and manga, like I was heavy into comics. I still am, of course, and I still have a large comic book collection that is mostly DC comics. But still, even from that, I liked and appreciated the idea of this is one person's story. A lot of my favorite films were just based on books written by people as a more series over just the normie, just this is a movie, here you go.
Yeah, it's
of
exactly what I
thing.
was saying before. The
'Cause
one
I-
creator over the
yeah. Because I can sink my teeth into it more, and there's more to it to enjoy.
You also know that it's not going to change into something that the creator does not intend.
Yes.
Star Wars.
Well, yeah, precisely. I mean, obviously things can change, and an artist can change things and do things for the worse. But it's always going to, in the end of the day, be them and up to them. It's not going to be someone else taking something, not understanding, you know, what something's about and what should be done with this thing, and doing something different. It is always going to be one person's idea, one person's goal, one person's understanding of the world that's being created.
The
It's
their
why-
world that they've created.
It's why, you know, funny you mentioned Star Wars. Some people often say it's not really up to what George Lucas or
But
Mark.
to be fair, he sold it off.
No, but they say that it's not up to what him or Mark Hamill says about it, and I actually beg to differ, because in the end of the day, they're the people who brought these things to life. They're the people who, through their mind, created this. Especially George Lucas. It was his mind that created it and spawned it. So if he says something, if he didn't imagine something to happen that way, then in my mind, it's less valid, because that's not what was intended, or that's not what someone. Because in the end of the day, what George Lucas's understanding of Star Wars is his understanding. That's the purpose of it, right? If he says he created it for this reason, that's why he created it. So when he makes it with that understanding and his own understanding of this. Now, obviously, he can change and he can want to have the series do something else, but in the end of the day, that's still coming from the same mindset. Instead of someone else coming in and wanting to tell their own story and have their own message, which has happened with Star Wars, and unfortunately made it go south.
Not always.
Not always, no, of course not. But
Like the Mandalorian.
yeah, of course.
Well, exceptions. But going on off of that and what I was saying before, I brought up James Gunn's Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad as examples of you creators telling the story they wanted to tell. I didn't, and I said and I used Marvel Waititi as an example of not that, even though it really was that. A lot of it was still a lot of Waititi telling the story he wanted to with few restrictions, but it's a big part is Disney's wanting to play it safe, wanting to make money. They had almost no dice on fucking The Mandalorian, and that became one of their biggest selling points. And then they fucking ruined the book of Boba Fett because of it. Right? That's them taking over this story, which we would have loved to see Boba Fett actually. I mean, it's not like we didn't like some of the scenes they added in, because I do quite like.
For a Boba
Luke
Fett fan, a lot of it was boring.
A lot of it was. This is not because I enjoyed it in the way that I'm a Star Wars fan. I enjoyed all the Star Wars, right? But objectively, there is a lot wrong with that. That wasn't the fault of the creator per se.
No.
It was the fault of people who wanted to change their story and were the ones paying for it so they could. Right? So, whereas The Mandalorian is a successful show with actual creators telling the story they want to tell, it's now, I don't expect it to get any better from here on. And I said before, I'm only trying to watch Western shows that prioritize the creator's will. That's a massive exception for Marvel and Star Wars, because I'm a fucking simp for those, and I will watch them regardless.
Wow. Doesn't even take my advice on a show that has the full creator's will throughout its entire run. Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah, no, but, that's cringe, and I can't do it.
It's not very cringe. I don't consider it cringe.
Okay, but, I have a very low cringe tolerance.
Yeah, but
It is astoundingly low.
See, I'd watch it, but Clone Wars.
Oh, fuck, I'm supposed to fucking watch Clone Wars, but I just got Ben 10 on. Damn it.
Don't worry, you don't have to worry about Clone Wars. Ben 10 will do. Ben 10 will do fine.
Oh, no.
Ben 10 will do fine.
That's it.
That
I was hoping you would get that, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Maybe you got it either.
May I just say, whenever someone asks me now about, what do you look for in an anime or manga series, a lot of that just doesn't change depending on what the series actually is. If it is anime, if it is any other form of media, I feel like a lot of that doesn't change for me. It's all pretty much the same, where it's like, okay, these are the things I'm looking for, or this is what I'm in the mood to watch. Over just it doesn't have to be a specifically anime thing. Because I can find other things outside. Yeah.
It's what? Different people like different things at different times, right? There may have been a different timeline where maybe I watched One Piece first, and I'm like, yeah, it was mid, and then I watched Naruto after, and it's my favorite thing ever. Alternate, unlikely universe, but it's the way that's how media is consumed. If you do not want to see that story, if it's not something you particularly want to experience or need to experience or felt you need to, then you're going to enjoy a story. Like, you may be able to objectively see, hey, this has some value. But
or you could just be me, and it's like, if you're gonna start something, you're gonna fucking finish it, because you know you're an idiot.
I've dropped a lot of great series because I've not been in the. It's just not for me at that point.
Or you're just not in the mood.
Yeah.
I remember watching I think it was Soul Eater. And I watched I think I watched the first episode, but at the time my mind wasn't in the right place, so I just simply did not enjoy it. However, if I were to rewatch it again at some point, I might actually end up enjoying it because my mind is currently in a different.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's one of my Soul Eater, the manga Soul Eater. I want to choose that for one of our manga reading sessions sooner rather than later. So it might work out there.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
And if you don't enjoy it, we just don't read it.
But no, my point is less so about its quality, and it's more just
Yeah,
better mind will affect
it's that mindset.
things, and it's often it can also
Yeah,
be
yeah.
a thing because when I watched something like, I don't know, SAO and Fairy Tale, I initially enjoyed it, but
Yeah.
when I then went on to watch other shows that were better, I ended up disliking the previous shows I watched because I viewed them as not as good as the current ones.
One of my favorite lines that I think a lot, like there's this like thing that people say with Fairy Tale is that you're the show whose fans you're the favorite show of fans who's only seen one anime.
Yeah,
It's a funny thing, but it's also very true.
Man, if I it really is that the case? Fucking Fairy Tale used to be my favorite anime at one point. It's incredibly true.
Yeah.
And then again, that is always the case for like the first few, but like Fairy Tale is a big, definitely.
Yeah.
That Fairy Tale still has its worth and it's still enjoyable to some people. This doesn't mean you shouldn't enjoy Fairy Tale. We just don't.
No.
That's my message to the audience.
Yeah.
Anyway, fuck Fairy Tale.
You can still enjoy it. I own my right to say fuck Fairy Tale. And it's not like I fully have a hatred for it. I still love a lot of the characters within the series.
Me at my hero.
My hero.
How dare Horikoshi make Endeavor? I love this character, but he's in this show. Fuck you. Fuck you, Horikoshi. You win this round.
But then just you know why
Oh, but then he has a son.
he has a son.
He has 3 sons.
I fucking make that reference far too often, not around you.
And it's
then
from
everyone's
Always
like-
Sunny. You.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I make it, and then I'm like, he has a son, and they're like, yeah, he has a son. I'm like, no, you don't understand. He has a son.
He has a son.
Fuck you both.
It's a funny thing.
It's a very funny thing.
Yes.
Like, Ethan, I did it for In the Boys. For Homeland. I'm like, he has a son? And like, yeah, didn't you watch the last scene? I'm like, no, bro. He has a son. It makes I laugh far too fucking hard at it.
He has a son.
He has a son.
May I just say, we all know what's gonna happen. If Alex ever comes to us and says he's having a child, it's a boy. He has a son.
Has a son.
You will never hear the end of it.
You
I
will
keep-
never hear the end.
Oh,
Every single time.
If any of us have a son, you're never gonna hear the end of it.
oh, you know, I don't want kids, but this one fact might change that.
And see, even if you get a daughter, it's not guaranteed that it's gonna stay that way because the daughter could just become a boy. And then
Oh.
I
Can't wait to transgender son now. 12 to 20 years down the line.
It would have been
I'm
even
like,
better.
oh,
It
my
would be.
daughter has changed her mind about her daughter. She's now my son. And yeah, we're gonna lose our fucking minds.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
It's the most stupidest shit ever.
It's so stupid.
And it's just one stupid line, but fucking always funny.
With the dumbest fucking character.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Charlie Day. Oh. Creating a fantastic series which I'll never watch. Oh, I will get to it maybe one day. We'll see. We'll see if I can tolerate a comedy again.
The anti-sitcom.
Bro, what the fuck is Frank Reynolds?
He is
a deity.
he's a sex machine. A god.
Sex god.
God damn.
that I think is just one of the things why I don't think Always Sunny is as cringe as other shows. Because, like, obviously IT Crowd, it has that more formulaic...
Oh.
Like, there are things with, like, the more formulaic sitcom kind of jokes that kind of build up and hit shit. But in Always Sunny, it just feels like they're just saying shit that the characters would actually say instead of making a joke, but it's just funny anyway. like a lot of what they say isn't actually meant for a joke from the character's point of view. It's just what they're saying, and like they're just being mean to each other or arguing over each other. And a lot of enjoyment can come from that over the whole thing of just like joke, alright, break for the applause or laughter, blah blah blah, then continue. Which some shows do, of course.
It's simply my secondhand embarrassment for me is just absolutely fucking fatal.
How do you sit through Mashal is my question.
It's one chapter a week every week.
Alright, let's binge it, Alex, let's go.
No. I tried rereading Mashal.
You failed, didn't you?
Terribly.
I have a trick for secondhand embarrassment. You wanna know what it is? It's called the right arrow key. So I can skip about 5 seconds ahead, and it's alright. We're done at the stuff.
That is an interesting thing. The second-hand embarrassment effect.
I pause and that let the moment fucking pass, and then I press play and it comes back again. I should probably skip ahead, like, yeah, that might help.
It doesn't get me too much, but
it doesn't get me too much. There are sitcoms that do get it for me, but that's when it's like they have like a teenager in the mix sometimes.
Yeah, no, I'm dead on anything.
Yeah. You just can't do shit. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you.
I'm out. Like, I just can't.
Ugh.
Different people interpret different medias differently. You know, that's always like I was saying before. Like, yeah, that's my excuse.
Yeah, sure it is.
I want the fortune pickaxe back, bro.
I don't have the fortune pickaxe.
Where the fuck did it go?
I don't have that pickaxe.
Man's trying to find fortune pickaxe. Where is the fortune pickaxe?
Then again, that is one reason as well. Like, I feel like that got me more into anime, is art, and being a more creative person who enjoys that's the kind of side of things I like.
Bro, I got a new fucking love for anime or animation in general after learning to animate.
Yeah. That's
and
these people have to draw.
Like, people have to do this for a living.
Yeah, and it got even worse when you think about it. Like the old anime that were doing it all by hand. They weren't using the fucking technology. They were just using it by hand. It's like, the fuck is wrong with you? The fuck? Jesus.
There wouldn't be any like, because I think what they do now is they outsource it. So they'll send it to some other companies.
Well,
not always, but generally. Well, I mean, it depends, because if you've got a lot of frames that are just useless, they'll send it to someone else.
Most series will do it.
Another company, and they'll, do the in between frames.
Most companies will do it, but and that's usually for those filler shots and scenes.
Yeah.
They usually have the better paid animators for their
fights,
more grandiose scenes.
A lot of fights, a lot of fights definitely have those kind of animators behind it, just working on it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, for a big moment, you can have multiple animators working on a single scene.
Nuts.
Which can be quite nuts. Obviously, for a movie.
No, I was literally eating salted peanuts.
Obviously, you have a movie. I think a lot of the movie is done like all on its own. Well, not. Just an interesting thing.
It's a miracle any movie is good. There is just so much
that could go wrong.
There's just so many people working on it. So many different things that need to go right. It's a miracle any film gets made at all. Not even par good ones.
That's why there's so many fucking shit ones.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd wager the shit ones exist
there
because of.
are even just things that I just don't think about sometimes, where you might have something like what is it, like you have movies and whatnot. It's like you think about you don't think about it very much, but it's like, what software do they use to put this all together?
I used to think that. After I got Premiere Pro, I'm like, I wonder if these people use Premiere Pro. And I stopped after a week.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing where it's like, do they do it? Huh?
Did they do it?
Did they do it?
When you see two teachers get closer all of a sudden.
Did they do it? Did they do it? Kyler, did they do it?
No, probably.
Did they
I
do it?
think. I hope we're all thinking of the same teachers from Year 9.
Oh yeah, that's exactly where my mind went.
That was a bit weird, that one, but
Did they do it?
did they do it?
I don't know. All I'm thinking of is apparently in the year before us, before we started, a teacher fucked a student.
What?
I don't know how true that was, but that's what
I think no, that was like a year 12 as well. Yeah.
yeah. No, but as in like that
Or
was,
had they
I
had
think it was the
something.
year, I think it was the year before we came. That was the year that it happened. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I think they were like it was a
Yeah,
year
I
12
fucking hope it
student, of
wasn't
course.
year 7. That was.
I don't think it would have been a year 7.
It fucking better not have been.
Mm-hmm.
Unless year 12, you know. Oh well. Bad, but it's bad, but it's like, oh well.
Jesus.
It's not as bad, but.
Ethan, what?
What?
Sorry, I was just playing Minecraft on the side, talking, mostly just digging holes.
Yeah.
And Jack comes into the server, and he's like, "What the fuck has Ethan done?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What has he done?" And I
What?
start walking to your house. How have you accomplished 17 deaths? You had 0. I'm like at 17.
So basically, I saw that Dean his deaths were reset to 3. So I'm like, you know what, someone's got to take up this responsibility, and started jumping off shit.
Fucking nutcase.
My last death, I think I just died. I swam underwater to try and drown myself, and then I found one of those lava brick things that suck you down. I just sat on that. That was my last death. I kept trying to kill myself in different
Jack
ways.
doubts you did it on purpose.
I had a lava death. I had a full fire death which almost set my chickens free. There was a lot of jumping deaths. The last time I tried to jump and kill myself, in a game, calm down. On the way down, on a tree, I hit a vine 1 block away from the ground. And I saved myself. So then I just decided to drown myself. Just normal things, you know.
As you do.
Casual.
Like,
This has gone, this
after-
severely derailed the conversation.
I enchanted my stuff. I'm like, okay, I don't have any more levels. I used them all. Let's just kill myself.
No.
How ridiculous! I even considered for a second, because I had time before anyone else came on, to get myself to 100 deaths. But then I thought that would be too ridiculous.
You should have put a lava bucket next to your bed.
No, because my shit's wood.
Would have been very
Put a
funny.
bed somewhere else and put lava next to it.
Well,
I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. But then I won't want to die any more than that.
No.
So I'd be fucking always on fucking edge. Get myself to 69. You really put a fucking door in this plane? I'm sorry, we need to get back on topic.
Animu.
Animal.
Yeah. At some point, I watched like 10 anime, including Naruto and Fairy Tail, so it's not a small amount.
Mm.
And I'm like, yeah, this anime is, and it's pretty decent. I don't know. Okay, I probably do know why. When I got to One Piece, I fell so fucking in love with that series. I was like, I must watch more. There must be more like it. To this day, I found nothing on par with it. but that got me on like a 3-year anime exclusive binge. So that's my anime story.
May I just say, with that, with the, well, if you see it's 17 deaths, I don't think anyone would assume I did that just on accident. I accidentally died 17 times. It's specifically 17 for the reason it's 17.
And do you think you're not going to get any more?
Oh no, I am definitely going to get more. But when that happens, I'm just going to go for 117.
You wouldn't.
You would.
I can't wait for 1,700.
But like I fully did it on purpose. I didn't actually die. Yeah, I was just like, someone's gonna threaten me. People have already been threatening me. I'm just gonna put everyone out of their misery and kill myself a bunch of times.
I did threaten you, to be fair.
Yeah.
The fortune pickaxe is one of your chests. Sorry, anime.
Anime. What were you saying before I derailed it again?
I was looking for a One Piece supplement, but I couldn't find any. And that's why I watched a lot of anime for 3 fucking years.
Fair
I'm
enough.
still going,
Fair
but
enough.
I'm going a lot slower now.
I'm going a lot slower in anime as well. Now. Definitely.
And how about you, Caleb? Are you going slow with anime?
I have not watched a new anime in literally a year, unless you count Star Wars Vision.
Which I don't.
So there you fucking go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely an anime.
Yeah.
That's not disputable, but like, if you're going to talk about new anime, Star Wars is not a new thing for you, especially.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I never saw Star Wars before.
Oh,
What do you mean? I've never seen Star Wars before.
why you watched the sequel trilogy on your own? I'll never know.
Look,
We
man,
specifically advised against it.
I did. At least you weren't with me, okay?
Yeah, I've rewatched like all of them.
Again,
large
but
different times,
that's the thing
never
again. But
tried Skywalker.
that's the thing. Like when I watched those shits, like I went into that with no expectations. I know you guys didn't like it, but I'm like, who knows? Maybe I'll enjoy it. Blah blah blah. I hated the shit out of all this crap.
My
Yeah.
friendship would have been over.
But it's just one of those things where it's like you never
Ethan
know.
who? The bitch with the wrong opinions?
What are you talking about? I have great opinions. What's a good
I'm still of
opinion?
the opinion that the only bad one, truly bad one, Rise of Skywalker though. But I do hate the whole trilogy as a trilogy.
Which one was Rise of Skywalker? Is that the second one?
The last one.
The last one. Oh, the last one was.
Like, Force
That-
Awakens was meh and
Yeah.
did its job. Therefore, it's fine.
At
Last
least
one did,
yeah.
did something interesting.
They
and I
both
would
told
like that.
stories. What the last one did was
Star
it
Wars
no
who?
it
The
knew
dude
that
with the tits?
it knew it had crashed the car, so they just started to pour the petrol all over the car and light the match. That's essentially what the third movie is.
Yep.
That's how I define it in
It
my
wasn't
head.
even a car crash. It was like it
No,
had a few dents, but it had some personality. You
no,
could still
no.
drive it the rest of the way.
No, at that point I felt like it was just like a 4-car pile on.
No, that was the end of 9, yeah. But after 8, they treated it like the car was gone. I think it had personality, and then they killed it.
Nah.
The car.
Obviously, this is your opinion and
personality
whatnot.
being 8.
Obviously, your opinion will not. I feel like there was a huge miss. A lot of it was weird and crap that I didn't understand from the get go. It didn't make a lot of sense what the fuck was happening. Yeah, that's about it.
I'm still to this day a Ryan Johnson's episode 8's defender. But you know,
I don't like episode 8, but I would have rather they stuck with it than make.
they
Skywalker.
obviously had problems with 8, but
I'm sorry, Snook who?
Yeah, well.
I loved that. I loved that they had.
Was it Snook or Snoke? I forget his name.
I thought you were serious.
Snook who?
I like that. In the first one, they had a Darth Vader clone and an Emperor clone, and in the second one, they took it somewhere else. It was no longer a clone of Empire Strikes Back or of the original trilogy. I appreciated that. Oopsie, I'm with the wrong pickaxe. And there's some of the directions I didn't like. Some of the direction it went, but at least it was interesting, which is to put it lightly. Oh fucking what a dumpster fire Rise Skywalker was. Yeah, that's my Star Wars. Where are they? Anime. The Star Wars anime. Star Wars Visions.
Some of it was good, some of it was crap.
Some of it was pretty shit, but
I mean, in its defense, it was made by multiple studios.
Yeah,
So
which told their own little story.
Exactly. They each told their own story, and they didn't have any restrictions to it because half of them didn't even follow the rules of Star Wars. What the fuck was that Kill la Kill looking one?
That was beautiful.
It was great.
Was that twins?
All the rules.
That's twins, yeah.
I think that was twins.
That's not how fucking lightsabers work, but I'm in for it.
Motherfucker.
Exactly. Right? Now, I was saying before, that I want more stories of people telling their own stories of things, right, without other influence.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say that those stories will be good, as shown by some episodes of Star Wars Visions, but at least it was their story.
And at least they tried.
I like it for that. Yeah, and
they tried. Yeah.
There was the I think it was episode 2, the singing one. That was fucking dog shit, man.
That was dog shit.
But it was the story they wanted to tell, and I'm glad they could tell it.
Despite it being very weird.
I fucking hated it, bro. So
he had a lightsaber mic.
Fucking had Boba Fett, and Tamira Morrison came back for that, right?
Did he? I
think they got the voice actors back for it.
I honestly forget there were voice actors.
I mean,
silence.
Yeah.
I don't. Did I even watch it? I even forgot what language I watched it in.
I think I did it in English. I couldn't be.
I did it in English and rewatched the first one in Japanese. Because I really enjoyed the first one. Yeah. That's why I watched it, right? That's why it's the only one I rewatched in Japanese.
Bro, that first episode was fucking stellar.
Of course it was.
Bro. That's what happens when you give creators a concept, right? And they're able to take the idea of Star Wars, of Jedi, of whatever the fuck they want from that world, and take it in a
Umbrella Saber.
Umbrella Saber, the one that can't turn off, so it had to be sheathed. Oh, beautiful. Mwah.
Some cool concepts and whatnot, or like things that people can create, and like no doubt people just sitting at home thought of different things and different ways to use these basic things that we've seen countless times, which is I think what made a lot of it very interesting, and partially why I got so excited in that first episode. The fact that it's lightsaber, it can't turn off, so it gets sheathed, or the fucking umbrella lightsaber, which I just fell in love with.
And I think some of the things we're saying may be contradictory. We're saying like the original creator should be their story. So we're talking about the sequels, and we don't like that it took a different direction than what George Lucas wanted. Yeah, but also encouraging Star Wars Visions. They can exist together.
But like I think part of the difference between
telling a story
that
you want to tell and ruining someone else's.
Yeah, obviously, like that at the end of the day, that's the difference. A lot of the sequel trilogy, it was building from this thing that had already been established and continued on with the story and just made it shit. Whereas in terms of Visions, they didn't do that. That was just their own singular story that a bunch of random studios kind of made, that didn't interrupt or disturb the natural order of shit.
And and also the difference between that and the sequels. George Lucas actually gave like ideas of what he'd done, and he actually had a plan for what he would have done, and they actually didn't take that. They just said, "Oh no, we're completely different," and we're also going to take pre-existing characters with them. Meanwhile, when it came to Visions, there were very few reoccurring characters that were...
Only episode 2.
Let's settle this right now. Let's settle this right now. Dragon Ball Evolutions.
Nah, that's just funny.
I'm sorry.
I
I'm
don't
that
even hate it. I just love. It's just funny.
that no. I can't sit through that shit. I just can't.
I can. It's funny.
It's not even fight. It's just it's probably my least favorite movie of all time, and it actually no scratch it. It is my least favorite movie of all time, and it is so hard to sit through. Like sure, it's like if I just think about like, oh, it's not Dragon Ball, but I know it's trying to be, and I can't get past the fact that I know what it's trying to be. Because of course all the characters are named after the fucking characters. It's just like, oh god, kill me now, please.
With me, it's literally opposite because I watch it, and because it's so not Dragon Ball, I don't think of it as Dragon Ball. So I just like, this is just a funny movie.
Oh,
It's
that's good.
It's just a shit movie, and it's funny.
I wish I were as strong as you.
No, with Death Note, it's completely opposite. I fucking hate the Death Note live action. But the fucking Dragon Ball one is just funny.
Can't do that shit.
Yeah, I don't have time for shit like bad films. That's why I just won't bother watching Dragon Ball Evolution.
Until we all sit down and watch it together.
Yeah,
I'll watch some Dragon Ball movies with you. Not that one.
What? Why not?
I
What?
want to watch the original Broly ones. He seems like a fucking Chad in those films.
He is, but you're gonna watch Dragon Ball.
Nah, I'm good.
We're gonna sit you down. If I had to sit down and watch Star Wars, you're gonna...
You chose to do that.
I don't know. I don't recall. I don't recall this event taking place.
In his defense, we made him watch the original, so he would have been more inclined to watch.
Yeah, you made me rewatch number 4 again.
So in all fairness, I think it is fair that we make you watch Dragon Ball Evolution.
That's
No.
We can all suffer together. Isn't that what friends are truly for?
I'll beat your ass. You'll suffer for my enjoyment. How about that?
You will suffer.
I kind of just...
If we do meet up to watch it, I guess I will. Like, I've got nothing better to do because I'm already.
I just want to see
watching
Caleb's... part of me wants to see just Caleb's reaction to everything while I sit there, just in pain.
I will get drunk for the occasion, and I will just.
Yeah, that's
I'll
actually
need what
no.
you
Scratch
have.
it. That's the only way to watch the movie. We're all gonna get drunk.
Yeah,
That's the only way to watch it.
I'll have to watch Evolution.
We're all drinking it. We're all drinking. That's the only way to watch it. Yeah. That's the only time I can actually enjoy it. That's the only way to enjoy bad movies is by drinking.
Yep.
Finally,
I'm
this movie
sold.
will be funny. Jesus.
It's not wrong. You need to be drunk to watch certain movies.
That is true. I feel like Cat in the Hat would be so funny if you were drunk.
Don't tempt me. Do not tempt me. No, you've tempted me now. This weekend.
We are in the weekend.
No, the next one. Next one, dickhead. I'm gonna get a bottle of mead, and then I'm gonna put Cat in the Hat on, and I'm gonna hop into a call, and you can just hear me laughing.
Oh my fucking god! It's gonna be an interesting weekend next week.
It will be.
The stream is just listening to drunk Caleb.
That's what we should do for streams. The fucking drunk watch shit. Why not? Don't answer that. There's so many things that can go wrong.
There are many things that could go wrong.
If I record it, it's a little bit safer. I don't think I want to
yeah,
stream it.
No. That means the shit that Caleb's gonna say something on stream.
Yeah, that's why I can
You're gonna get banned
record
off
it, but I'm not gonna stream that. If we do that.
Oh, okay, that's better.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even record. I thought we meant stream.
No. Like actually, just like record. Yeah.
Yeah, God, you'd be gone.
I can't guarantee anything, but you know.
Yeah.
No, I can pretty safely guarantee that if you're drunk on a stream,
My history. I mean, you were there when last time I was super drunk. Did I say anything controversial?
no, because you were around people who could beat your ass.
I still said controversial shit. I said more controversial.
It was
No,
a trick question, Alex.
Hang
Of
on.
course
No,
you said something
no,
controversial.
No. I said more controversial shit when I was sober and when I was drunk.
That is true.
Yes. The pinnacle.
That is true. I can test that.
If anything, it's safer. If anything, you're better. You're safe.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh fuck! I left.
So, Animu,
Anime.
I mean, anime...
What's the anime you watched recently, Caleb?
Star Wars Visions.
Ah, Ethan, what's the last anime you watched?
Tiger and Bunny.
Was that any good?
Yeah. It's alright.
Anime. There you go.
Hang on. The one, like something that I've already read. A new anime was Star Wars. Something I rewatched. I think the last one was early because I watched that again.
What?
Either it's that or it's me rewatching The Mother of Right? Or it's more Dragon Ball. Yeah. Though an interesting thing about anime that we haven't really touched on is anime games, because those also exist, but they can be anime
games.
anime looking.
I don't know. I mean, in terms of anime games that are based on anime, a lot of them feel real samey kind of shit. Mostly because they were probably just made by Bandai.
Yeah.
Oh my god, anime games made by Bandai?
What? But a lot of them just have
You
that.
could have fooled me.
A lot of them have that exact same feeling of just like, okay, you're playing the game and also going through the story as well, which I feel like is just a lot of just the general things in terms of the anime games, and not creating or doing anything new or interesting. That's what occurs a lot with the anime games. But yeah, there are, of course, a lot of Japanese games that have the, of course, anime feeling, because it's partially in the same area. It's the same kind of media and similar target audience. I mean, Final Fantasy feels very anime-esque.
I will say I do like it when games based off of an anime do their own thing. When they
Doesn't mean they're always good, but
no, of course not. But I like it when they don't try and recreate the story of what happened previously. They try and.
I mean, Fighter Z goes on its own little story.
Yeah.
Without ruining the original story in the process.
Nice.
Yes, precisely.
Because you don't have to create something. It doesn't have to always be the same. You can always create something new. The only exception I feel like was probably Storm 4. Storm 4, I just think, did a really good job at kind of doing it in a way where you can explore and do a lot more.
I can be more lenient when it comes to fighting games because the point isn't the story.
Obviously, Jump Force is literally
But if it's more of an RPG or something and it follows the same story, it's like it's why it's why I didn't really get into. So it's why with the SAO games I didn't get into the other ones, but I got into Fatal Bullet because Fatal Bullet felt like it was its own thing. It was its own thing. But I think like Kirito and the other characters were there, but it was not their story in the slightest. It's your character. It's 100% your character stories. There are characters that have fucking nothing to do with Kirito and all that shit. They have to do with your character. It's its own story. That's what makes it interesting. Meanwhile, other ones, it's just like you sort of, I don't know. I feel like it's just a rehash almost at times.
I think one of the difference between everything is probably the idea with games that are based on anime. One of the biggest appeals is playing a character you love. Whereas playing other games or just games, you're playing it more not only if you have enjoyed the character before, but also for the experience over the actual storyline of the game, almost. That, like, take the new Kirby game that's coming out. I'm a lot more interested in the story of that game and actually playing through that Kirby game over just like, oh, Kirby's cool. I want to play Kirby because, like, of course, there are multiple Kirby games. I can just pick one up right now and be like, okay. It's not because there's more of it, so there's less of it of just like, oh, this is the character and this is blah blah blah. I can just play. I'm playing for this game, and that's the thing with anime games, I guess, or game based on anime. That feel very different. Like, of course, I want to play Ninja Storm 4. I want to play Night Guy going 8 gates on everyone's ass as Night Guy. Well, you wanna be fucking Itachi doing some weird shit with a goddamn Susanoo. You know?
And then you got games that sort of, you know, I mean, like they'll simply be anime in style. Like they won't come from Japan or wherever, but they will have the sort of anime art style. They might have some tropes or such things.
And what games are you saying? And what games is that? Do you ever?
Well, like Doki Doki.
Doki Doki.
Like that it's,
yeah.
It's not based off an anime. It's its own story, but it uses the anime style, which it uses it intentionally. That it it is very much intentionally designed to be that way. It's not just yes to make more money. No, it's there's a reason. There's a reason it's portrayed like that, which is fun, which plays into it being a good.
Like I think one of the biggest appeals for playing like a Bleach game is more to play as the characters, less so the actual storyline of the game.
Yeah, if I play Bleach game, yeah, sure, like in its own world as well. But I want to go Toshiro and go Bun.
Yeah.
But then there is also the charm of it having its own story, because in its you're able to explore that world. You're able to explore that world and make your own mark and make your own character and have you be a part of that more so than just having another being playing as a character. It's good in certain contexts, but personally in RPG context, I'm not a big fan of it.
That's one of the things though. I think Western gets it right in terms of it's not just you're playing for the sake of the character in terms of someone who comes from another thing, but also because of the storyline. Take Batman and the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Or even the Deadpool game.
That's very true.
The
Deadpool game, a lot of it was a meme, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it's a meme, but it's also like because of the story over and shit. And obviously the interesting way of like playing as Deadpool, like because it's a very unique kind of skill set he plays with. But Arkham games are fucking stellar, amazing, fucking brilliant.
They are brilliant.
But they're able to go like, okay, this is a cool character. This is something that's really cool, and they're adding in their own flair and they're adding in their own story to the game, and making it something more. And you actually want to play for the fucking storyline, over just because it's Batman, almost.
Personally, I reckon on average, I mean, the East generally produces better animated TV series. Meanwhile, I think the West is me personally. I think the West game is better.
Nintendo has always made top quality games.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they have true.
But I just find Nintendo like kind of like Disney.
Oh, that's fair.
I also find them a bit repetitive.
God damn wacky.
But always quality.
Yeah. But again, it's like I feel like.
But then again, Disney films are always top budget shit as well.
Yeah, but Western shit always like. They're always doing new stuff. They're always trying to have new gameplay, new things to do. Meanwhile, I feel like with Eastern shit, there tends to be more of a formula. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it does mean that if you're a fan of a certain franchise, it means that generally it's not going to change too much. I mean, of course, you look at Mario, went from fucking 2D to 64, but it still has that sort of...
It's charm.
Yeah, and it's like Pokemon. I mean, really, fundamentally, Pokemon hasn't changed. at its core, what the gameplay is, it hasn't changed.
No,
It's still, you go out...
it has
you catch-
evolved, but
Yeah, and it's got added new features, whatever. But it's still like go out, catch an animal, make the animal fight to the faint, and then win the game.
is it
Basically,
thundering outside?
Is it? I know there's supposed to be storms.
I'm hearing I'm hearing thunder.
Oh, well, there you go.
But I don't hear anything. Well, my headphones cancel most not. I heard something actually. I don't know if that was a car or not.
Yeah, that was either thunder or I was hearing someone's stomach rumble.
Was not me.
Well,
Caleb,
Nah.
was that your tum tum?
Nah.
No?
No.
No?
No.
Okay then.
I'm sure you. Nah.
what if I say KFC?
Oh, there's more rumbling.
There you go. That's
Just kidding.
Oh, that's triggered it.
That's fucking ridiculous. Anyway.
So
Yeah,
weird.
Waggy response in the chat.
Waggy.
What? What is Waggy?
Waggy's the idiot that technically got me into. Well, he wasn't actually you. He got me into One Piece, which got me more into anime.
I don't take credit for getting you into anime.
Dagesh.
I don't. I take credit for more like sometimes being I inject you with a disease. I give you a disease, and you spread it to like all your friends. The biggest instance of that, of course, being Black Lagoon.
Yeah, I got everyone on that shit.
I sneezed on Alex and
Which you
he passed it on to everyone.
Yeah, just watch the first episode.
Yeah,
of
just
it,
watch
right?
it. You're here. You have some time. Just, yeah, what's the first episode?
Fucking sells them immediately.
Anime way.
Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, Scott. My mate's into Steins Gate as well because of you. What
Dies.
else?
You're a liar.
I'm a liar, apparently.
A liar about what? I wasn't listening to you.
He just called you alive. He just called you alive.
You called me a liar.
I am a liar?
Huh? Who's the liar?
Alright,
Alex,
then
what's
play
happening?
me a note.
Well, what did I do for you? What did I do?
If you're a liar, play a note for me.
Nah, I'm good.
Oh, okay. So you were lying.
Nah, I'm sitting up.
Oh,
Are you lying?
no.
Caleb, are you lying?
I tried playing Minecraft lying down.
Fuck, he called me.
No, it did not. Fucking.
You know what? It took me a very long time to realize that the lyrebird isn't called the lyrebird because it's because of the instrument. That took me way too long to figure
What?
out.
Then what's the name? What? Hang on. Hey,
Wait,
don't go just
wait,
dropping it. Why is it called the lyrebird then?
Because of the instrument.
It is because of the instrument.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's what I thought. I thought you said it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. I thought it was because it was a liar. Like, it lied. It told fibs.
Thunder.
No, it's the instrument.
Thunder.
Yeah, no, that's definitely-
Thunder.
Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very strong.
Oh, I'm fucking pissing my pants right now.
Wait. You have piss?
Oh, fuck. I have to show. I don't like. I get very little enjoyment watching things that make me cringe, but I have to show everyone I ever say that reference to that episode of Sunny, Always Sunny, because I can't live with them going like, "Yeah, did you watch it?"
It was actually a good episode, regardless.
Oh, it was really good. Yeah.
It was just them.
It's not like I
complaining.
dislike any episode of Always Sunny. They're all fantastic.
Of course, some.
As I said before, there are some shows, some things aren't always the right thing for some people at certain times.
Yeah.
And I do want to watch Sunny.
But you know you have a curse.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things where it's like, okay, watching a comedy anime. How do you get through comedy anime?
I don't.
You don't? You never really tried?
There are very, very few comedy anime that I've been able to sit through.
I mean, One Punch Man is considered comedy,
Well,
but
it is
you don't laugh as much.
No, it's
Yeah.
that's different kind of. Because sometimes the comedy hits just right that I can sit through it. For me, it's Grand Blue and Izaki-kun, and even Mashal in some parts, and Gravity Boys definitely.
Yeah, the bucket.
Nah. Sometimes Mashal. Very specifically, sometimes Mashal.
He had a bucket.
Fucking hell.
That's one of the things. Like, I will agree with you on. It's like I don't really laugh too much. But what about Nichijou Waggy Ass?
That was really good, but it didn't make.
I don't think it made me laugh.
Cringe. No, it was funny. It was good, and it grew on me. The jokes grew on me a lot more after the fact. But it's not it didn't make me want to die inside, nor did it match exactly.
I want to search up.
It's really good though.
What are considered the funniest anime? That's what I'm curious.
Well, I mean, if you ask me, Maru is. I quite enjoy.
Oh, and then if they're not funny,
like,
I don't like them.
humorous.
I don't care for them.
I mean, there is the clear king of the comedy aspect of all anime, Gintama.
Yeah. I started that shit 2 years ago. I'm only halfway through.
That's right. God.
Turn us up. We're quiet apparently. Oh well. I hear you. How do I
turn myself up? I could do this.
Am I?
Gretzko also. It's not comedy that totally fits me, but it is.
No.
Hopefully that helps.
No, don't.
Really good. No, don't do that. No.
Don't do that.
No, turn it back.
Is that better?
No, it's quite enough.
That's not bad.
Well,
you don't have to sit through it, you bitch.
I don't have to sit through it.
I watch Kaguya-sama weekly, so that helped me manage. And there was that, by the way,
Kaguya-sama.
not only fantastic comedy, but also fantastic series in general.
Comedy.
And Gretzko is one of the best comedy anime I've seen.
Your
Personally.
life is a comedy.
But that's also very depressing.
Yeah, that one is a pretty good one-to-one on adult working life as well. So it does have a lot of depressing moments in it as well.
Psyche K has comedy to it.
Psyche Cave, bro, that's so good, but I can't binge it. So good.
Why not? Why can't you binge it?
It's grown on me significantly since I first watched it.
Huh? Why can't you
Sometimes
binge
I actually watch Psyche K clips on YouTube. Just fucking Nendo being an idiot for 3 minutes straight. I'm like,
Sometimes
I
don't feel like comedy is as big as a genre in a lot of anime, or there's not a lot of focus on it compared to Western
part of it
shows.
is their different style of comedy as well.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Assassination Classroom has comedy in it. And
Meanwhile,
I think they do a good job at it, but it's only a small part of the entire series.
Yeah, it's not focused on comedy.
No.
Yeah, there's their comedy, which I won't be able to describe, and then there's our comedy where someone say the word, I'm giggling. Excuse me.
Of course, there are series that are heavily focused on comedy, but a lot of them are a lot more skit-based. And then Gintama.
I'll get back to it. I will. I bloody will.
No, I'm just saying, like, a lot of the ones I've experienced that put the focus in on the comedy have been heavily skit-based. Nichijou, Psyche K, Lucky Star. There are more, but...
Oh, I'm watching a comedy anime now. It's called Asobi Asabase. If you recall, it's well, basically the concept is just three high school girls just in a club, quote unquote club, which is not really official, and they do the stupidest fucking things on the planet.
Yeah, is there a blonde one? There's one
One's
blonde, yeah. I vaguely remember.
That series, I need to commend it greatly on its ability to do reaction faces. It's just incredibly well. Right, Komi anime was amazing, but the reaction faces of Komi is not like the best they could be. This series is the absolute fucking peak of just those fucking.
You know, it just feels
I
like
can't-
yeah.
Mwah.
There's one series I feel like just feels like a meme, just because it's just a weird concept, and that's Devil's Part Timer. I mean, that's comedy kind of based. It's just like, what if Satan worked at McDonald's?
Yeah.
Alex, you work at McDonald's. Are you
I do.
Satan? Are you Satan?
No. Don't think I am.
Caleb, I think we found Satan.
No, you didn't. You just didn't, I'm afraid.
Also, Caleb, I got you, Caleb. Alex is the opposite of Satan. He's just a saint.
Nah, you were talking, and I just searched up for Mario moments, and that just comes up, and I just couldn't. I couldn't. It was beautiful. It killed me. It slew me.
Bomber. I love him.
Lessons of fun, Lord Bomber. Oh, brilliant.
Umaru's heavily comedy based.
Ah, beautiful.
But again, it's like if I want to watch something that is comedic, anime is not my first thought.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah.
I don't feel like it's ever my first thought, unless it's specifically Marshall.
There's also like, and here's the thing with comedy, it is very much context based.
Yeah.
So there is going to inevitably be a large portion of comedy when it comes to anime that is related towards the culture that we are just not going to understand.
Yeah.
Because that is not our life. But meanwhile, something that is more Western, we are going to understand more because more relevant.
It's also I feel like the culture and the evolution of these specific things like a comedy genre was more impactful in the West and has a lot more history in the West.
Yeah.
Like even from just like in the early 20th century, people just being arrested in America for making jokes that were seen as bad because they said specific words, despite being in a country of free speech, because that makes sense.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it was just a joke. They weren't making like any statement or whatever. It's just a joke, and they got arrested for it because, I don't know, police state, you know.
Greatest country in the world.
People are still getting fucking, chased after by people for saying certain jokes.
Yeah. But now it's more about like it's a different community now.
Yeah.
Because of the internet.
But the people who mostly browse the internet with that kind of comedy aren't the people in charge.
Yeah.
Of countries.
And
but they have a Twitter profile.
We'll get you
with 4 followers.
Yeah.
I
do think it's interesting because I know one channel I was watching, they said something very interesting, and they said that the problem that's happening now is the internet is bringing together people with different temperaments. So you've got people who are perhaps a little bit more sensitive, who are less sensitive, and all of a sudden they're coming together, and it's not working because the person who isn't as sensitive to shit will say something that the other person is going to feel very bad about. And the unfortunate thing is that colliding is just creates what we're seeing today, where a comedian will say a joke and people are like, "What the?"
The first thing that popped in my head is just like being in a call with some like Americans, and like Caleb was in the call with me, and we were calling each other cunts, because to us that just feels like a normal thing.
Was that the one I got kicked from?
Yeah.
You know, I got kicked after sending a prequel meme gif. And I'm proud of that. My final thing I did in that server was send Qui-Gon Jinn, saying the ability to speak does not make you something like that.
I think it was that.
It was either that one or I can't remember the exact one. It was. I know it was Qui-Gon Jinn. It was. I don't think it was that one. I think it was something else. But it was. They They didn't like that. They didn't like
I
that.
think one of the things that got to me in that
I
server was like, they complained about me and like, oh, it's just the culture behind it. It's like, okay, yeah, admittedly I could have been a little bit more respectful, but I was aiming like some of the things at someone who understood, like Caleb in a call when I got, but then they're just sitting there making fun of the way I say words.
That is just racism.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I fully admit, like, okay, yeah, I might have said some shit, but that was also directed to someone who understands the culture and who is a friend as well. That's another specific part of that. And then they're sitting there, just laughing at the way I say a word like, what is it, cucumber, because it's like, what?
Why did you say cucumber?
I don't know.
That's what I'm very suspicious.
I don't know.
I am very curious about that. That is.
I don't know.
Maybe you deserved it.
Yeah.
Or if it's just like me questioning shit, like I never understood the idea of Americans calling what we call capsicums bell peppers. I never got that in my brain. So like when they say pepper, that doesn't correlate with what I'm thinking of.
But then they're also like, why are you saying come?
Yeah, but it's also but there are other words, like just even just my accent. They were just generally making fun of no matter what word I said. And then they say, oh, I don't have an accent.
And then I think they got pissed off because I told them to shut up, and they did not like that. They really didn't like me saying that.
And then it was bye bye Caleb.
No, and then I said Qui-Gon Jinn, and then they kicked me. But again, that's just the thing of people with different temperaments.
Yeah.
Like in our friend group, if I told someone to shut up, they're not gonna care. No one here.
No, they would keep talking. They'll say shut up back. And keep
Oh
talking.
yeah. I told them to shut up or make things worse. But in that chat, they just did not like it.
You just got shot. We're on a call with Americans and you got shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about anime.
I know.
Yeah, I swear that half the conversations I have with you, just hang on. Remember how bad America is?
Eventually, goes into that.
It's a natural progression.
If anything, that just goes to show that we've expended this anime topic.
Yeah, true.
Once we start talking politics, it's the stream's gone off the rails.
Yes, this is our politics. We have to vote this year. I don't know who I'm voting for.
I know who I'm voting for.
I actually have to study it for one of my classes because I have to study political advertising. So that's going to be fun.
I know who I should. I know.
Let's just vote for Alex's dad. Let's get this over with.
I know who I can't vote for if I want to stay in this house.
Oh.
Vote for
I can vote for whoever I want, as long as it is not a particular set of parties.
Don't worry. I got a good idea. Everyone, listen closely. Vote for the Kiln.
That's right.
That's right.
Make a political party called the Kiln.
The Kiln Party.
Yep.
That's right. That's all we need. And with that, I feel like we're done with this stream, kind of.
Yeah.
Lesson learned. Vote for the Kiln.
Yep.
That's about it. Have a nice day.
If you take anything away, take away that.
Yeah, vote for the Kiln. Alex, any last words?
Christ. I'm just imagining. Yeah, these are my last words. I'm imagining a political campaign, and Caleb's a fucking spokesperson.
Yeah.
And we're just not gonna make it past preliminary. Pre-selection, that's like
Because
some people were like, yeah, that's some good things, and he'll say some, and then we're gonna go like, oh, hang on.
you know me, I am just going to call the. I would call if I don't like something that the opposition have said, I'm just gonna call them a cunt. I don't give a fuck. That's me. That would just be me. I'd call them a cunt.
Okay,
I don't give a
shit.
I don't give a
Donald
shit.
Trump.
I don't give a shit. My problem,
He's Donald Trump.
if I was a politician, I would just be too honest. That's it. I couldn't be one because I'd be too honest.
Trump.
No, I'm not Donald. Why? I'd call him a cunt. I don't give a fuck. You say something, okay, you're a dickhead. That's it. I don't give a shit. Fuck diplomacy, cunt. Do you know what would happen, right? Do you know what would happen if I was PM now and fucking Putin said he was gonna drop a bomb? You know what I would say? Come at us, dog. Come on, then. Come on, then.
Scrap this
Come on,
plan.
then.
Scrap this plan. We're not going into politics.
I
Scrap it.
love the
Scrap
idea
it.
of you like appearing on TV, and then I'm just in the background going like, Caleb, no, Caleb, stop. I'm the consultant who you just actively ignore.
And I just arc up.
You gotta have someone to ignore.
That's true. That's true.
This is how our society works.
Yeah.
Ignoring
is-
other people.
Yeah.
Either way, vote for the
That's-
kiln.
that's-
Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.